Happy Monday. Math time. Math journals or math notebooks out. Label your notebook at the top. Today is the 29th of March. And before spring break, we had talked about classifying triangles. We classified them by their sides, and we classified them by their angles. Okay? Who can remember the different types of triangles according to sides? Obtuse, is that one of them?
No.
That's one of them, but by angles. Give me the sides first. Alyssa? Isosceles?
Right. Oh, there. Wrong one.
Scalene? And equilateral. Now the angles, Aiden, obtuse, Bradley, acute, Mimi, right. Very nice. Today we're going to be talking about area of a triangle. So in your math notebook right now, usually I give you guys kind of a vocab word, but right now I actually just want you doing your own research. Area of a triangle, and I want you to do some of your own research. What does that mean, area of a triangle? How would you find it? Maybe an example, maybe a picture. Do your own research right now on area of a triangle. ladies and gentlemen, if you are not done with your research, that's okay. You can come back to it. I'm actually gonna show you a video right now. This video, part of the video is going to be review, okay? This is an area video, so it's gonna have area of a polygon and area of a triangle. I was gonna skip over the polygon part because we've already done it, but I thought it would be a good review anyways, so I'm gonna let the whole video play, all right? Here we go.
Hi, welcome to Math Antics. In our last geometry video, we learned that all two-dimensional shapes have a one-dimensional quantity called perimeter, which is basically the outline of the shape. In this video, we're going to learn that these shapes also have a two-dimensional quantity called area. To help you understand what area is, let's start by imagining a line that's 1 centimeter long. Now, let's imagine moving that line in a perpendicular direction, a distance of 1 centimeter. But while we move it, it leaves a trail, almost like the end of a paintbrush. By moving the one-dimensional line that way, we formed a two-dimensional shape. And all of the space or surface that we covered along the way is the area of that shape, which, as you can see here, is just a square. Okay, but how much area does this square have? Well, our original line was 1 centimeter long, and we moved it a distance of 1 centimeter, so we could say that this shape is a square centimeter. Just like a centimeter is a basic unit for measuring length, a square centimeter is a basic unit for measuring area. But there's other units for area too. For example, instead of a centimeter, what if our line had been a meter long? And what if we had moved it 1 meter? The area we'd have gotten would be 1 square meter. Or what if our line was a mile long and we moved it a mile? We'd have a square mile of area. So just like with perimeter, the units of measurement are very important when we're talking about area. All right, so that gives you a good idea of what area is, but how do we calculate area mathematically? Well, there's some special math formulas or equations that we can use to find the area of different shapes. In this video, we're going to learn the formula for squares and rectangles and the formula for triangles. To find the area of any square or rectangle, all we have to do is multiply its two side dimensions together. They're usually called the length and the width. So the formula looks like this. Area equals length times width. But it's often written with just the first letters of each word as abbreviations. A for area, L for length, and W for width. So let's see if that formula works for our original square centimeter. If we multiply the length, 1 centimeter, times the width, 1 centimeter, what do we get? Well, 1 times 1 is just 1, but what about centimeter times centimeter? Centimeter times centimeter just gives us square centimeters, which we can write like this using a 2 as an exponent. We read this as centimeters squared, and it's just a shorter way of writing centimeter times centimeter. So whenever you see units like centimeters squared, or inches squared, or meters squared, or miles squared, you know it's a measurement of the two-dimensional quantity area. Okay, our formula, area equals length times width, worked for our square. Now let's see if it works for a rectangle. Here's a rectangle that's 4 centimeters wide and 2 centimeters long, or tall. First, we plug the length and width into our formula, 2 centimeters and 4 centimeters. Then we just multiply. 2 times 4 equals 8, and centimeter times centimeter is centimeter squared. So according to our formula, the area of this rectangle is 8 centimeters squared. And we can see that's correct if we bring back our original square centimeter. If we make copies of it, you can see that exactly 8 of those square centimeters would be the same area as this rectangle. Great. Let's try our formula on one more rectangle. This rectangle is 2 centimeters long, but only half a centimeter wide. And our formula, area equals length times width, tells us that we just need to multiply these two sides together to get our area. 2 times 1/2 equals 1. So this rectangle is also 1 square centimeter. How could that be a square centimeter? It's not even a square. But just because a shape takes up 1 square centimeter of area, that doesn't mean it has to be a square shape. It just means that the total area would be equal or the same as a square centimeter. You can see that if we break up the rectangle in half and rearrange it, then it would form a square. In fact, we can use square units, like square centimeters, to measure any area, no matter what the shape is. It could be a rectangle, a triangle, a circle, or any other two-dimensional shape. Okay, now that you know how to find the area of any square or rectangle using our formula, we're going to learn the formula for finding the area of any triangle. But to do that, we're going to start with a rectangle again.
What?
The dimensions of this rectangle are 3 meters by 4 meters. So, what's its area? Well, using our formula, we know that the area would be 3 meters times 4 meters, which is 12 meters squared. But now, what if we were to cut this rectangle exactly in half along a diagonal line from opposite corners? It forms 2 triangles. And because each of these triangles is exactly half of the rectangle, that means that the area of either triangle must be exactly half the area of the rectangle. We already calculated that the area of the entire rectangle is 12 meters squared. So the area of this triangle must be 6 meters squared, and the area of this triangle must be 6 meters squared, since 6 is half of 12. Aha! So the formula for the area of a triangle should just be half of a rectangle. So does that mean that instead of area equals length times width, it should be area equals 1/2 of length times width? Yep, that's basically it, but with one important difference. Instead of L for length and W for width, we're going to use 2 different names for our triangle's dimensions. We're going to call them base and height, and here's why. The names length and width worked okay for this right triangle, because the right triangle is exactly half of a rectangle. But those names don't really work for other kinds of triangles, like acute triangles or obtuse triangles, because how do you tell which side should be which? So for triangles, we do something different. First, we choose one of the 3 sides to be the base. It doesn't really matter which side you choose, and in a lot of math problems, the base will already be chosen for you. Once we decide which side the base is, we imagine setting the triangle down on the ground so that its base is flat on the ground, like this. Next, we find the highest point of the triangle, which is the vertex that's not touching the ground. From that point, we draw a line straight down to the ground. The line we draw must be perpendicular with the ground. The length of that line from the tip of the triangle to the ground is called the height of the triangle. Oh, some people call the height of a triangle the altitude, which makes a lot of sense if you pretend that your triangle is a tiny little mountain. Sometimes the height line is inside the triangle, like with an acute triangle. And sometimes it's outside the triangle, like with an obtuse triangle. And sometimes it lines up exactly with one of the triangle sides, like with right triangles. But no matter where it is, the formula for finding the area of any triangle is the same. Area equals 1/2 base times height. So if we know these 2 measurements, base and height, we can just plug them into our formula to calculate the area. At first, you might not see how the same formula could work for all 3 types of triangles, but watch this. Here's an acute triangle, and this box is 1/2 its base times its height. If we cut our triangle up, you can see that it fits perfectly inside that area. But wait, there's more. Here's an obtuse triangle with a box that's 1/2 its base times its height. Again, if we cut up the triangle, it fits perfectly inside the box. Now you can see how the formula, area equals 1/2 base times height, works for any kind of triangle. Okay, we already figured out that the area of this right triangle was 6 square meters. So let's practice using our new formula to calculate the area of these last 2 triangles. Our diagram shows that the base of this acute triangle is 5 meters, and its height is 8 meters. So we plug those values into our formula for area, and we get area equals 1/2 of 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, and 1/2 of 40 is 20. So the area of this triangle is 20 meters squared. Don't forget that the units of measurement for area will always be square units. Okay, that was pretty simple. Let's try our last example. The diagram of this obtuse triangle tells us that the base is 4 inches and the height is 7 inches. So let's plug those values into our formula. We end up with the equation area equals 1/2 of 4 times 7. 4 times 7 would be 28, and then we can calculate what 1/2 of 28 would be by dividing by 2. 28 divided by 2 is 14. So the area of this obtuse triangle must be 14 square inches. Okay, now you know all the basics of area. You know that area is a two-dimensional quantity that we measure in square units. You've learned the formula for calculating the area of any square or rectangle. Area equals length times width. And you've learned the formula for calculating the area of any triangle. Area equals 1/2 of base times height. But don't forget to practice what you've learned by working some problems on your own. That's how you really get good at math. As always, thanks for watching Mathantics, and I'll see you next time. Learn more at mathantics.com.
All right. Turn on the right light, please. And if we go up to Schoology and we go to math, I want you guys to save a couple of things that are going to help you, some help sheets here. All right, area of a triangle. This is a nice sheet. It has our formula, and it also has an example on it. I would say this to Schoology then for your homework. It says the formula is A. A stands for area.
Base.
B
Height.
for base times H for height, and then divided by 2. Ladies and gentlemen, write in your math notebook now. Area of a triangle equals base times height divided by 2. And then it gives us directions. It numbers them. Number 1, determine what is the base and the height. Okay, what are those numbers? So in this one, I have a base of 6 and a height of 7. We need to set up our formula then, which in this case, we're going to multiply our base times height, so 7 times 6, and then divide by 2. 7 times 6 is 42, divided by 2 is going to give you 21. And then we need our label, which in this case, they were using centimeters, and we square them. All right. Have the formula in your math notebook, guys. All right, the next one. Here's some nice notes. Now, I'm not going to make you rewrite the notes. I just want to go through them together. So it says that the area of a polygon is the number of square units inside that polygon. A triangle is a 3-sided polygon. So, since the area of a parallelogram is base times height, the area of the triangle must be 1/2 of that, okay? So, thus the formula is base times height divided by 2, or another version is 1/2 times base times height. Ladies and gentlemen, I definitely will recommend this one, and always use this one when we practice together. But if you like the other one, then that's okay too. All right, so they have an example here. Mouse is stuck. Okay, they have this triangle here, and I see we have 8, and I see we have 3. Okay, what's that 3 representing? My what? Everybody?
Area.
Well, it's not, the 3 is not my area. I have to find my area.
Not area.
Height. And my 8 is representing what?
Your base.
Base. So I do what? 8 times?
3.
What is 8 times 3?
24.
24. And then I need to divide that by?
2.
24 divided by 2 is? 12. And then I have my label, centimeters squared. Ladies and gentlemen, in your math notebook, I want you to try this one. We have a triangle here. I see my height is what number?
4.
4. And my base is what number? 7. What is 4 times 7? 28. And then I need to divide by 2. What is 28 divided by 2? 14. Don't forget your label. Inches squared. Very nice. How do you guys feel about this so far?
Okay.
It's okay? Alright, let's practice some more together. And then I'm going to give you guys your homework. Alright, our last one there that I've posted on Schoology is our practice that we're going to do together. It is a worksheet. I like this worksheet because at the very top, it gives us a nice example. Actually, I'm going to open this. Make it bigger here. There we go. It gives us a nice example at the top. It's telling us how to find the area of a triangle. It's giving us our formula and then our example over here. So ladies and gentlemen, while you're doing your practice or your homework, this would be a nice one to pull up later if you need to. All right, in your math notebook, number 1. Let's always write our formula out so I know where to plug in my numbers. So number 1, if I write it on the board, you are writing it in your math notebook. Area equals base times height divided by 2. All right, number 1. What is my base for number 1? Everybody?
25.
25. What is my height?
10.
And then I divide by what?
2.
2. All right, so I have plugged in my numbers over here. Your notebook should look like that too. Remember, what does that dot mean? I see a dot. That's not a computation, a dot. What does that mean, Charlie? It means multiplication. Yeah. We know that sometimes our multiplication symbol, or X, can look like the letter X, which sometimes we use letters in math. So sometimes it keeps things a little more simple using that dot. All right, so what is 25 times 10?
250.
250, and then I need to divide by
2.
All right, can you do that mentally?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Some maybe. So let's write it out. What's 2 divided by 2?
4.
I bring down my 5. What's 5 divided by 2?
2.
What's 10 divided by 2?
5.
125. Ladies and gentlemen, you need label. What is our label here? Centimeters squared. They use centimeters on number 1. All right, number 2. I want you to do number 2 in your math notebook on your own. Let's scroll up some. Number 2 in your math notebook on your own. Raise your hand if you're still working. Okay, 1 more minute. Number 2, mask on and show somebody in your area what you got there. If you guys disagree on your answers, discuss. Show somebody in your area your answer to number 2. If you disagree, discuss and come up with the same answer. All right, listening in 3, 2, 1. Let's check it. What was my base for number 2?
12. I mean 16.
16. What was my height?
12.
And I divide by what? 2. Good math facts here. 16 times 2. Could you do that mentally? No, you cannot do 16 times 2 mentally. I need to see work for that because, ladies and gentlemen, if you got that mentally, I know you cheated. What is 16 times 2? Everybody?
32.
16 times
12.
12?
You said 2.
Did I say 2?
It's like you said
It's Monday. Whew. 16 times 12, you can't do mentally. So what is 16 times 12? 192. And then we need to divide by 2. Again, 192 divided by 2. You could not do that mentally. But when you work that out, what did you get then?
96.
What's my label?
Centimeters.
Centimeters squared. Very good. Whew. It's Monday. We made it. All right. Number 3. Number 3, I want you to do with 1 or 2 people in your area while staying in your seat. Number 3.
The base is
Everybody done? Somebody give it to me so I can write it up here. Listening, 3, 2, 1. Mason, what's my base?
80 centimeters squared.
My base?
Base?
Yep.
The base is 20.
Ben, what's my height?
8.
And I divide by how many, Justice?
2.
All right. Mental math, you should be able to do what is 20 times 8, everybody?
1.
I can do 2 times 8, which is 16, and then add my 0. And you also could mentally do 160 divided by 2, because what's 16 divided by 2?
8.
And then your 0. What's my label for number 3?
5.
Centimeters squared. Very nice. You guys feel okay about these? Yeah. Not the best, not the worst. I think a big thing for you guys on this is to make sure that you guys don't make a mathematical mistake. Like saying 16 times 2 like Mrs. Bush did. Number 4. Number 4 on your own. This will probably be our last one. Number 4.
This one's easy. Is it 10 and 16?
Yes. I see a height of 10 and a base of 16. For my friends in the back. I know some friends are saying this one's easy. I think you got some numbers. You can kind of work mentally on this one. Always helps make it nice. Ladies and gentlemen, something I want to point out to you, on my worksheet, it all came out with even numbers, right? They were all divisible by 2. That might not be the case. You might have some decimals in your answers if maybe you had an odd number that you had divided by 2. Okay? Max, what'd you do here?
So for 5, I did 16 times 10.
Number 4. Good. 16 times 10. Good. And you got?
I got 160.
Good.
And I divided by
So 160 divided by 2, which is 80. Yeah. Same as our last one there.
That's what I was saying.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, your homework from math is vocabulary. You have the video, vocab, which a lot of the vocab is going to be review on vocabulary. There's words that we've already talked about with triangles there. And the read and respond and the quiz. Okay? All right, guys. Go ahead and get started.